To donate a car, contact Wheels from the Heart at 844-GIVE-WHEELS. That's 844-GIVE-WHEELS. Now, let's get ready for the messenger of love as she educates, informs, and entertains the needs in our community. Here's Sabrina.
Hi, you're live on air with myself, Sabrina Barnett from Wheels from the Heart, as well as Stephen Muschlitz, the founder of Wheels from the Heart. We're so happy to be with you today and to help share the gift of giving by giving you information as to the plight of the children, more importantly even than the single mothers that are in desperate need of help and their stories. So we've got some really great stuff for you today. Stay tuned, and I'd like to introduce you to Stephen from Wheels from the Heart. Hello.
Good afternoon, Sabrina. Thanks for having me, and I'd like to thank all the listeners for allowing us to be on their ride home from work today, and we can share some light on what we're doing here in the community and how we're standing up to help single mothers and their children.
Sure. Okay, so for all these people that are not tuning in via television and are driving home, they've had a very hard day, let's say, or a long Monday, and they have a car. They're going home to an apartment or a house. Try to explain to our listeners, what is it like when you don't have a car and you're coming home from work? In other words, are you in traffic right now? Are you in your own car listening to this radio show? What is the woman doing right now?
For the women that don't have a car?
A single mom, yes.
Yeah. Well, most of them are on the bus, which is probably a 2.5-hour journey. So that's just dead time that they really can't be with their children. They can't help them with homework. They can't assist in any of the needs of the children. Preparing dinner becomes very late, so the children sometimes eat very, very late at night. Mom's pretty much exhausted by the time she gets home.
So for all you listeners out there, we are very fortunate. If you've had a tough day, if you've had a hard day, I'd love to inspire you right now and say, thankful, be thankful. That's the word that comes to mind. That's the word that comes from my heart right now, is to be grateful, because a lot of these women do not have the opportunity, the simple opportunity to take your keys and click open your car or open your car, get in it and drive home in your private little bubble and really enjoy the fact that you've got that alone time to be able to express yourself and to listen to radio and do whatever you really want, meditate on your day. And so, Steve, once again, I really commend you for doing what you're doing with these, with this charity, Wheels from the Heart. And how can people get a hold of you if they're interested?
Well, wheelsfromtheheart.org is our website. We also have a 800 number, which is 844-GIVE-WHEELS, which transposes to 844-448-9433. So again, that's 448-9433. So you can reach out to us at any time, tell us, your stories, and we can, share what we're doing on the website with all the different events we're doing.
Right. Well, let me ask you this. If there's somebody that has a friend that is a single mother, please reach out to us. Please reach out to Wheels from the Heart, and via email and or via the website, and really share the story. We have a lot of women I know that have cancer, a lot of women that have autistic children. I mean, this is something that is not just a donation of a car, right?
Well, what happens for most people is we don't really realize a cause until it affects us.
Sure.
And there's a lot of different causes, and they're all great. For us, we feel that life in general is a wheel, and each part of life has a spoke in the wheel. Well, if one of those spokes goes flat, we all know the wheel goes flat. So a car is really a direct benefit to mom, but who really benefits the most is the children.
Absolutely.
Because mom now can have a better job. Mom is not geographically challenged to where she can work. We don't think those things.
Can you just explain to our listeners, what do you mean by geographically challenged? What exactly does that, how does that translate?
Well, a bus doesn't go zigzag. It goes on a graph. So it goes, east, west, south, north.
A bus going zigzag.
So if that now you got me all laughing. You made me with those moves on your hands. Got me all confused there for a second. But
imagine how it is to be on a bus trying to get a good job.
On that grid, if your job doesn't fall within that grid, you can't take that job.
Your hands are locked, basically.
As we all know, it's hard to get a job for a lot of these single moms working around their kids' schedules or whatever they are. And so now they have to take a job that's maybe less pay, doesn't have
Right.
upward mobility, it's farther away from work, just because the bus gets there.
Sure, sure. So being on the grid really does not offer a huge opportunity, even though now, as we all know, it's not as easy to get a job. There's a lot more competition out there. Especially if you may be late. I'm sure some of these women, if they are on the grid, I'm going to say the grid, right? The
Right.
bus system.
Yep.
If they are on the grid and they can't get a job off the grid, then if it's raining, they may get late to work, right?
Absolutely.
How is a boss, as much as you want to be a compassionate boss, but you do have your bottom line. You've got your job, you've got your business to uphold and upkeep, right?
Yeah.
So what happens to a lot of these women? Do they lose their jobs?
Well, they lose their jobs, or they come to work and they're in clothes that are wet because they don't necessarily plan to be in the rain.
Sure.
They've got to carry strollers. I've had some where they have to carry the stroller. They drop the child off at daycare. They can't leave the stroller at the daycare because they don't want to be responsible for it. So they get pack the stroller back up on the bus, get on another bus, and
get
to work.
with the
Yes.
stroller.
Yes. And so it's
Little
just
things that
challenges.
make a huge difference that people don't realize.
These little hurdles that just add up, and you just keep going back
So
and back.
how is it that how can we help these women? How can we help a single mother? And again, it's not just the single mom. I really want to focus in on the children, because a lot of these ball players, basketball, football, baseball, a lot of these young men were little boys with single mothers,
Sure.
right? I
Sure.
mean, it's a pretty high
Well,
statistic, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very high. And the thing is, if you listen to a lot of these guys speak, and we have a lot of them on the sports teams here. Dwayne Wade was raised by a single mom. Adonis
I'm
Haslam,
sure
LeBron James,
Wow.
who was here for
And
a long
look at
time.
how successful they've become.
Absolutely. Kevin Durant, who won the MVP a couple years ago. And they all give credit to Mom.
That's
Mom
great.
was stable. Mom created the foundation. Mom was the one that made me go to practice or kept me out of trouble. Mom was the one that did whatever. She got on her knees and scrubbed the floor and took 2 jobs because she wanted to feed my brother and I. Mom was the one. Mom was the
Right.
one. And you continuously hear that Mom was the
Right.
foundation. So we need to support Mom. And by getting a car, it's an instant life changer. It's one of the few things that you get in life. Remember when you were 16 and you got a car? Think of what
Absolutely.
it did for you at 16. Now, I'm sure a lot of it wasn't good, but it still was.
Speak for yourself.
Okay, there's a confession. But anyway, now, it opens a ton of doors. And so we call car freedom. And with freedom, we can do things. I challenge anyone out there. I mean, most of us have had cars since 16. We can't even fathom not having a car. But when your car breaks down, you panic. Rely on a car.
I'd love to share this story. So yesterday I went to a dinner, and the person that was hosting the dinner was complaining about, I had to move, and I had to do this, and this isn't going right, and this isn't going right. And everything really, if you were to focus in on what's not going right for this person and what's not going right for a single mother who's struggling to get a job, who's got 1 or 2 or 3 children, who has an amazing heart and is spending 95% of her life sacrificing to hopefully give love to her children and a future for her children. And yet a lot of these women that I personally have interviewed have these huge beaming smiles on their faces.
Right.
And they don't play victim.
Yeah, they're go-getters, and they're stronger than, the strength in these women that I've got to meet and got to share with, and we've been actually provided 38 cars to these single mothers and their families. It's just amazing to me,
How
and
can
it's,
somebody provide a 39th car? If there's a listener out there who's faithful and gifted enough to be able to have their own car, knows what a blessing that is, and they want to make a difference, they need a tax credit, they need a tax write-off. Maybe instead of giving it to Uncle Sam, they can sponsor a family. How much money does that cost?
Well, there's a lot to that, and there's a lot of ways to help. Everybody knows of a car laying around that's it's not being used, or they don't think it works, or it's not nice enough, or whatever the reason is.
Right.
We have mechanics, we have people that donate tires and parts. We can actually turn a car into a really safe, reliable car.
So a used car, if anybody out there has a used car that they're either no longer using or need a tax credit, you also, I heard, beat CarMax written estimates, correct?
Right. And sometimes people have older cars, and a loved one passes away and they can't afford to donate it. we can the charity has the opportunity to buy that car.
So if anybody has an elder person out there, mother, father, aunt, whomever, that is no longer not able to drive anymore, then if you want to receive a tax credit, wheelsfromtheheart.org, wheelsfromtheheart.org, 844-GIVE-WHEELS, 844-GIVE-WHEELS is the number to call.
And you make an interesting, and you bring up another great point. It's so funny because, as you evolve and you grow through something, you learn more and more. And every time I sit with these women, in these single moms and their kids, we try to create a family atmosphere. We want them to come back. We have like an alumni, let's call it. And we always tell them their family once they get a car. So what's really neat is I've learned that they all give their cars names. And I'm like, how cute is that? This is Betsy and this is Alice. And so it shows the connection that people have with their cars.
Sure.
So I also say to people that have a car, at the end of that car, you're ready to get a new car, you don't use that car anymore. How great would that be to take your memories and all the fun that car provided you and all the abilities to do things, and you pass it forward, or I say pray it forward, to a single mom. And it's just a blessing.
Yes.
And so the neat thing is we've actually had people, if they're willing, both sides, the recipient and the donor, they come into each other's lives. And the donors want to see how that car works. And so they get to follow the family around and see, wow, my car, look what it did for my kids. And now look what it's doing for someone else's kids.
So it's like an instant impact.
Absolutely.
So if there's anybody out there listening or watching us on television, please understand that your gift of giving can really change a life for a child and a mother, single mother in need, who's willing to work, who's drug-free, who's really wanting to make a difference for her children's lives. 844-GIVE-WHEELS. You get a tax credit. You can donate a used car. It does not have to be a brand new car. Also, I think you have a program if they donate 28 cents a day, or what is it, 98 cents a day, it's $28
Correct.
At the end of the month. And again, that's like a crowdfunding at that point.
And you can do that via PayPal. And again, it's what I would like to mention is that all of us, if I ask what you did today, sure. And you are mentioning the woman that was somewhat frustrated with her day and how much she had to get done.
She had a car.
Right.
She
My
has
question
a beautiful
to her
house.
is, imagine doing that without a car, though. All the things that we think we have to struggle and do. Imagine trying to do that without a car. Think about how many doors are closed. All of you out there that have children that are driving home with their children in the back, and you're singing "Let It Go, Let It Go," the Disney song. I think that's the most popular one right now. But think about what those children don't get to do if you didn't have a car. Just think of all those times and fun activities that they probably couldn't participate because they have no way of getting there.
Sure.
So I challenge the listeners to think of that.
Well, I also think that I'm a single mom, as you well know, and my children are older now, but in raising them, I would always say that you create you. And it's not that you want to not have a safe zone for your children, but it's giving a hand up, not a hand out,
yeah,
right?
we say we're a hand up and not a hand out.
Right.
The other thing is, if there's any organizations out there, any kind of churches or different organizations that help single women, please reach out to us, because we would love to come talk, help your recipients. And there's ways to. We found that a lot of organizations, what they do is there's training for the single mom. And then the goal is at the end of that program, they're going to purchase a car. Well, because of the relationships we have in the car business, we can offer cars for dead cost. So whatever we could get that car from, the auction for $2,000, she could be able to buy that car for $2,000.
So
and that would be like a $3,900 car.
That's awesome.
Right.
So please, again, I'm just going to shorten that a little bit. If anybody is out there that is a single mother or that knows of a single mother, wheelsfromtheheart.org, wheelsfromtheheart.org, or 844-GIVE-WHEELS, and the organization will actually, if you have a certain amount of money, they will gift you a car by giving it to you at cost. Correct?
And another great opportunity there's so many wonderful companies here, and there's so many businesses, and it's a great way to get publicity and to promote your business by gifting a car to maybe a single mother that works at your office.
Right. So an example of a business: a Taco Bell, a Wendy's, a 7-Eleven, an
Walmart,
attorney's
Kmart,
office,
anyone. There's a single
dental
mom.
office.
Absolutely. They can raise money within the company, and maybe the employees will pitch in, or however that looks, and then we can actually present a car to one of the single moms that works in that company. And what's really neat is it shows like, wow, this company really cares about their employees. It also allows the single mom to be more productive. She's not stressed out as much. She's on time to work. She spends more time working.
Happy mother, sure.
Absolutely.
Happy mother, happy children. That goes without saying. It's, you go as a child, you look for a safe zone. To build a foundation that is not strong, you are really having a hard time in life.
Right.
To build a foundation where you have love and your mother is able to generate that love because she's not stressed out. She's not on a bus for how many hours a week?
Well, some of them are 2.5 hours each way, which equates to 5 hours a day. Times 5 is 25 hours. So that looks like Monday morning at 9 a.m. till Thursday at 10 in the morning. That's how long they're on the bus. And that is just dead time. The bus has germs. It's not healthy. The kids can't sit down half the time. It just goes on, the frustrations and the stress that the bus causes.
Sure.
I remember when I was a kid, as soon as I got home from school, I looked for Mom. Mom. And if she wasn't around, I freaked
voice,
out.
Oh, my goodness.
She probably ran from that voice sometimes,
Oh, well, I do know it's very challenging being a single mom. It's not an easy job. And if anybody can help and actually sponsor a family and donate a used car, or if there's a Toyota or a Kia or any of these car dealerships, I should say, that want to have a tax credit and want to do good for their community and change lives and sponsor a family, please reach out for 844 Give Wheels. That is 844 Give Wheels. A very easy number to remember. Again, if you need a tax credit, if you want to make a difference in a child's life and a single struggling mother's life that's looking to make a difference, I can tell you to call this organization. They're transparent. It's real. They're making a difference. And I don't know what else to say that's positive and beautiful.
Well, as I mentioned to you earlier, we try to stay involved with a lot of the families. And so we have our headquarters is in Delray Beach off of 4th Street. And they stop by periodically. And some of the boys will come in, water plants, or they'll just, because they care. They're so grateful. And so many things have happened in their life because of this car. I had one little boy, he's 4 years old. He was very shy when he came in. Now he comes in and he gives me karate kicks. He's taking karate and his name's Q. He doesn't understand how old I am. I'm like, Q, easy with the karate kicks. But he's now taking karate. Before, he was not able. He was staying home with his grandmother all the time. And although that's beautiful, they still need to get out and experience different activities. So this child has done a total 360.
So a generous gift of giving, whatever you can give, is greatly appreciated for our listeners out there. If you can give $1, we greatly appreciate you. Nobody has ever become poor by giving, and that is a famous quote. No one has ever become poor by giving. If anything, some of the most beautiful experiences is when you can give and you can see how your gift of giving has transformed lives. That's a really special space.
And another interesting thing is we actually, like I mentioned, part of our vetting program is to work with other agencies, a Dress for Success, a Family Promise, His Caring Place. And so we are actually working with women that understand that when they get a car, there's a huge responsibility. If you and I have a problem with our car, what do? We go get it fixed. We have to get it, prepared.
Serviced.
We have to buy tires. And
Oil change.
And so they're going through these different programs and learning how to save money. So when an unexpected expense comes out, they're ready for it. But they also know that to keep that car on the road, that there are certain things that have to be done.
So also, if you have, if there's an insurance company out there for cars and you want to be able to help this organization, these women need your help to help provide car insurance for them. Is that correct?
Yes. And, anything car related, AAA, I mean, we require every one of these girls to get a AAA membership. I've heard stories where women are driving home at night, something happens to the car, and they're so afraid they don't want to stop because they don't think they're going to anybody help them, and so they keep driving and they end up causing more damage. If they had a AAA card, they could stop, call for help, and immediately get someone to pick them up.
As most of us do, right?
Correct.
I mean, we're so accustomed to having that ability, that luxury. It really is a luxury. I mean, you call up a number and they say within an hour or whatever they come to be of rescue. These women don't have that. It just reminds me that I was interviewing one of your recipients, and without revealing who she is, she was working, and on her way home from work, she was waiting at the bus to go home to her children, and she got sexually abused. She got raped at a bus stop.
Wow. Yeah.
And a hardcore reality, it happens. I always say, let's give a voice to the voiceless. Again, if anybody is out there, these are working women, working single mothers that are looking to make a difference in their children's lives. Anything you can do to help this organization, wheelsfromtheheart.org, we would greatly appreciate it. Again, the 800 number is 844-GIVE-WHEELS, 844-GIVE-WHEELS.
And also, I think that people, it's funny because I've learned, I'm a bus stop expert now. I know all the bus stops in Florida. Absolutely.
You have your master's in that.
Oh, gosh. I could tell you what's good, bad, and different about every bus stop in South Florida, practically. But I do also challenge the listeners as they're driving home, be aware. Watch how many single moms you'll see at a bus stop, children in tow, groceries in tow. I had a woman once share with me, we talk a lot, and she said, Steve, I have to go to Publix 3 times a week. Mm-hmm. And so the first thing that came to my head was, well, money's tight, with a lot of people. Sure. And so I figured that was the cause, and it wasn't. It was, Steve, I can't carry my babies and 2 or 3 bags of groceries at the same time. So now what is that? That's a 3 time a week, 2 hours, whatever you call it, 6 hours more that they can't really spend quality time. Yes, they're together.
And we're not even talking about the time that it takes for them to go to and from work. This is in and outside of...
That's an additional 6 hours.
I didn't think about that.
Right.
So a lot of times if they have to do their laundry, they have to go somewhere else to do their laundry. Yep. How are they going to get there? Via public transportation. Sometimes it may not be on the grid, right? So they have to walk with bags of laundry for quite some time in the rain or the sun.
And just the general safe feeling that you have freedom to be able to do things for your children. I'll give you an example. We had another, and I asked the listeners, how many times in the middle of the night is your child, you've had one case where a child gets sick, maybe an allergic reaction. So what's your first thing to do? You go to CVS and Walgreens. Yes, that's a plug for you guys. Send some money in. But you go to CVS or Walgreens and you get some Benadryl. And what do? You drive back home, you give the child Benadryl, and everything's okay. Well, these mothers, what do? Well, I got to take the 3 kids. I can't go. Oh, I got to take the bus. Which bus route? And then if they don't go, the child gets sicker.
And what are they going to do with a young child?
And they go to the ER.
Well, if the child's at home, they can't leave a sick child at home.
Right.
Because then they'll be unfit mothers. So
correct.
There's a huge stress for any single mother out there. And on top of it, when you don't have the ability to have wheels, please, we're not asking for brand new vehicles. We would love to have brand new vehicles. But if you have any sort of car out there and you're looking for a tax credit, so this is good for you in many ways. You'll get a tax credit, and you'll also be able to help a single mother and her children drive to a better life.
I also think that it's very important that we really focus on the children as the direct benefactors of the car. I challenge people to, when you were a kid, how many things you got to do and how many things that formed you, whether I played sports, I was blessed to play sports. And I know sports was a very important part of my life that taught me discipline. It taught me all types of sportsmanship and how to get along with others and how to strive to be better.
Sure.
So kids that don't get to participate in these activities, they don't get to blossom. They don't get to learn skills that we take for granted.
With my 2 boys, they were playing basketball, and I remember there was this little boy that would take 2 buses to get to practice. And after practice was over, 7:30 at night, in the winter, it's pitch dark outside.
Right.
And this little boy had to walk. Many a times some of the parents would drive him to a bus stop and or drive him home, which was quite far. But some nights when the parents couldn't do it, he was taking 2 buses to get home from practice. What about his homework?
Right.
What
Absolutely.
about, this child might be up. I mean, this is a child that has drive, determination, desire to make a difference in his own life.
Right.
He's not lazy. He really wants to have what other children have. baseball practice, basketball practice, football practice. Please, if you hear about us, wheelsfromtheheart.org, you can make a difference in these children's lives. They're not asking, we're asking, and you in turn get a tax credit. It's not only a car donation, it's also $1 a day, $30, $1, $100, $3,000, $300. Whatever we appreciate, and we're forever grateful to sponsor a family and make a difference in a child's life.
And we're based here in the community. I mean, we're making difference right in the community. And, you know, we're a community-based charity, so all that money goes directly to the charity.
Right.
We don't have any salaries. We don't have anything right now that takes up anything. So when money comes in...
So it's not a 90% to the charity and 10% to the cause?
No, it's 100 and plus my other sweat equity, another 120% goes to the women.
And I'd like to also, in closing, really acknowledge your for-profit, which has allowed Wheels from the Heart to even blossom. You have a company called Country Club Autos, correct?
Yes.
And Country Club Autos will beat any written car max estimates. Am I correct about that?
Yes, absolutely. And, you know, and that's what taught me this charity. That's what I learned as I saw that what we believe in is that it shouldn't be a tedious process to buy a car. It should be a pretty simple process.
What do you have? It's called the
it's a three
PPP, right?
It's the painless purchase program.
What does
Once
that
you
mean?
decide on one of the cars that you like with us, within 30 minutes you'll have your car, you have your payments, what your trade-in's worth, and exactly what the deal will be done.
And I know when you buy a car from Country Club Autos, it's also, you have mechanics that go along with that help people that are not going to charge top dollar and are honest and reliable for your customer.
And we've been
correct?
blessed. We have a business that, you know, we've shipped cars all over the United States. We've shipped cars over a lot of countries in the world. And we have repeat business because...
What is the phone number for Country Club Autos?
561-997-5789. Again, 997-5789.
In closing, thank you so much. You have been listening to Wheels from the Heart. My name is Sabrina Barnett and Steve Muschlitz. Wheelsfromtheheart.org if you want to donate. Thank you so much.
Have a wonderful evening. Drive safe.
You have been listening to the Wheels from the Heart Show with your host, Sabrina Barnett. Join us next week at 5:30 on AM 1470 WNN. Want to donate and maybe be on the show? Sabrina loves meeting people. Find out how you could meet Sabrina and be part of our show. Give and share your compelling stories. Single moms need your help. Sabrina invites you to see the show on our website. See you next week. The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its hosts, guests, and callers, and not necessarily